The spotlight blazed against the small stage, its golden hue cutting through the darkness of the packed auditorium. A boy, barely 16, thin as a whisper, wearing a faded gray hoodie, stood trembling at the center. The microphone looked too big for his shaking hands. From the audience, a hush spread like a wave, thousands of eyes locked on him, waiting. His name was Eli Parker, a name that carried no fame, no legacy, only quiet dreams whispered into the night by a boy who had known more hunger than comfort. He wasn't supposed to be here. Not in front of celebrity judges. Not under lights this bright. But here he was, standing on a stage where miracles sometimes happened. Eli came from a town where hope was scarce. His mother, Anna, worked double shifts at a diner that never closed, and his father had left when Eli was 6. Their tiny apartment had peeling paint, creaky floors, and a window that let in more cold than light. Yet, every night, Eli sang. He sang not because he wanted fame, but because it made his mother smile. When she came home tired, smelling of coffee and dish soap, she would say, "Sing me something, Eli." And he would, softly at first, then louder, until the walls seemed to hum with life again. His voice became their only luxury, the thing that made the darkness bearable. One winter, Anna got sick. The kind of sickness that crept in quietly and then refused to leave. Hospital bills piled up, and Eli quit school to work at a mechanic's shop. Every day, he wiped oil off his hands and told himself he'd find a way to help her. Then, one night, while scrolling through his cracked phone, he saw it. National Talent Quest, auditions open. One performance could change your life. Eli stared at the words. His heart pounded. Change your life. Could it be that simple? He borrowed bus money from his friend Mason and traveled 3 hours to the city. He had no fancy clothes, no professional training, and no instrument, only his voice and a song his mother had written for him when he was little. Backstage, he felt invisible among the glittering contestants. Some were dressed like pop stars, others had coaches and stylists. Eli sat in the corner, clutching a photo of his mom. "This is for you," he whispered. When the stage manager finally called his name, he almost couldn't move. His legs felt heavy, his throat dry. But he remembered his mother's voice. "Don't ever sing for applause, Eli. Sing to make hearts feel something." The curtain lifted. The lights hit him. He blinked, frozen. "Hi, sweetheart," said one of the judges, a famous singer with silver hair and kind eyes. "What's your name?" "Eli Parker." His voice cracked. "And what are you going to perform for us today?" He hesitated, then said softly, "A song my mom wrote. It's called, Home Is You." The crowd was silent. The first note left his lips like a fragile secret carried on wind. It was soft, trembling, but pure. Then, something happened. The fear melted, replaced by something raw and powerful. His voice rose, gentle at first, then soaring, filled with pain and love and longing. The lyrics told a story of a little boy who lost everything but still found warmth in a mother's eyes. The melody wrapped around the audience like a blanket. You could hear sniffles in the crowd. When he reached the chorus, "Even when the world forgets my name, I'll find my home in you," the camera caught one of the judges wiping away tears. By the final note, the theater was utterly silent. Then, a single clap. Then another. And suddenly, the whole place erupted. People stood, cheering, crying, shouting his name. Eli's eyes widened. He looked at the judges, 3 of them were standing, but the 4th, the silver-haired singer, hadn't moved. She looked at him, with tears streaming down her face. Then, she reached forward, and slammed her hand on the golden buzzer. Golden confetti exploded from the ceiling, raining over Eli like sunlight. He stood there, stunned, tears mixing with gold flakes on his cheeks. The judge ran to the stage, embraced him tightly, and whispered into the microphone, that was the most beautiful thing I've ever heard." The audience roared. The other judges clapped through their tears. But Eli wasn't thinking about them, his mind went straight to his mother. He wanted to run to the hospital, show her, tell her he did it. That night, the clip of his performance went viral. Within hours, millions had watched it online. Strangers across the world commented, "I'm crying. This boy's voice healed something in me. A true angel." But back home, in a dim hospital room, Anna watched it too. Nurses gathered around her, holding tissues, as she smiled weakly and said, "That's my boy." Weeks passed, and the show invited Eli back for the semifinals. By then, sponsors, producers, and fans were calling him, the Golden Boy. Yet, Eli stayed humble. He still took the bus. He still sent every dollar he earned to his mother's treatment. But tragedy struck the day before the semifinal performance. Anna passed away quietly in her sleep. When Eli got the call, he collapsed on the floor of his motel room, clutching the phone to his chest. "No, no, please, not yet." His cries echoed off the walls. For the first time, he didn't want to sing. He thought of quitting the show. Fame meant nothing now. But that night, he found a letter under his pillow, a note she had written before she died. It said, "Greater than, Eli, my song was never meant to make you famous. It was meant to make you brave. Go show the world what love sounds like." He wept for hours. And when the morning came, he dressed in the same hoodie he'd worn at the first audition. The stage felt heavier this time. The judges and audience had no idea what had happened. When the host asked if he was ready, Eli nodded. "I'm ready. This one's for my mom." He sang a new version of "Home Is You," slower, deeper, filled with grief and grace. His voice cracked in places, but that only made it more beautiful. Halfway through, he looked up and whispered, "Thank you, Mom." By the time he finished, the audience wasn't just clapping, they were sobbing. The silver-haired judge had her hands over her mouth. The other judges stood and walked to him on stage, one by one, until all four were hugging him as the crowd chanted his name. It wasn't just a competition anymore. It was a collective moment of healing. Eli went on to win the entire show. But he didn't move to Hollywood, or chase record deals. Instead, he started a foundation in his mother's name, the Home Is You Project, to provide music scholarships for kids who couldn't afford lessons. When reporters asked him what success meant to him, he smiled and said, "Greater than, it means making someone feel less alone. That's all my mom ever wanted me to do." Years later, Eli stood on the same stage again, but this time as a guest performer. The lights, the crowd, the nervous contestants, it all came rushing back. He closed his eyes and began to sing. His voice was richer now, stronger, but still carried that same unfiltered emotion. Halfway through, he noticed a little boy in the front row holding a photo of his own mother. Their eyes met. The boy mouthed, "Thank you." In that moment, Eli realized something profound. The stage wasn't about fame, it was a bridge between hearts. As the last note faded, the camera zoomed in on the judges, tears once again glistening in their eyes. The silver-haired judge whispered, "He did it again." The audience stood, cheering, clapping, crying. It wasn't just applause for talent. It was applause for courage, for love, for every mother who ever believed in her child. Eli looked up, as if searching the heavens, and smiled. A single golden light from the ceiling shone directly on him, like a silent blessing. He whispered, "We did it, Mom." And the crowd rose higher, louder, until the entire hall felt like it was glowing. In that golden moment, the boy who once sang in a broken home became the voice of hope for millions. He taught the world that greatness isn't born from wealth or fame, but from love, resilience, and the courage to keep singing when the world goes silent. The night ended not with noise, but with peace, the kind that settles deep inside your chest when you witness something purely human. And somewhere, in the hearts of everyone who heard his song, a quiet truth began to echo. Greater than, no matter where you come from, love can turn your pain into music, and music can turn your life into light.